So, welcome everybody. Tonight's a fun night. We're going to do some giveaways tonight. I don't always do that, but I am tonight. And if you're new to watching me either on Facebook or in the classroom, woohoo, glad that you're here. And I'm going to do some coloring tonight, but I thought that we would kind of talk about this really cool bundle. So let me move a little. I have a lot of stuff out to show you because I wanted everything kind of open. But we'll talk about that as we go. So we're working with the bike ride bundle. It's super cool. And I've had it, and I just keep looking at it, and I keep thinking, I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. This stamp set was not designed to color, really, but I decided to bring in the coloring. It's actually designed as a layering set. So I want you to look at what it can do, and then we're going to take it a little bit differently tonight. Notice that you have 3 layers for the book. So you can stamp the books, then you can stamp this in one color and then this in a third. So you get this really cute illustrated type look. It also coordinates with the Thinlit. So then you can punch out, and they're the perfect size, you can punch out the book after you've stamped all 3 layers, right? Okay, so that's one. Then you have the flowers, and you can stamp this with one color, which will give you the insides of the flowers, and then you can go ahead and stamp this in a different color so that you get a different color on the petals, right? Super cool. Then you have these flowers are 3 layers. The flower, the outline, the color of the flowers, and then the green leaves. Same thing with the apples, the outline, and then the inside, so you can get your colors. And then there's the leaves that go on the top of the apples, right? The dog, so he could have one color face and a different color body, or his body and head are the same color, and then you've got a scarf that goes on, right? Oh, this is 3 for the flowers. I'm sorry, I missed this part. These are the paper that wraps around to hold the bouquet. The basket has 2 parts. The bike has tons of little parts. You've got the body of the bike. You've got the wheel. That's the tire and the spokes. And this is the rim, so you can have different colors. You've got the seat, the pedal, the handlebars. And then this goes on the back to hold the basket or the dog or whatever else you want to put on the back. You could put the books. You could put apples. It's the little thing on the back of the bike that holds it in place. Okay, so that's how the people at Stampin' Up! Decided this is how they designed it to work, which is perfect. It's great. But if you're a colorer, if that's such a word, and you can think of any excuse to color, that's me, I looked at this and said, ooh, look at these outline images. I have these flowers, the dog, the basket, even the bike I could color, some of the details. So that's what we're going to do tonight. So not only do we need the stamp set, and we want the coordinating Thinlit set that goes with it, and I have these spread out so that I can show them to you. My card, oh, and I'll pop I didn't put the sketch up yet. I'm so sorry, I forgot about adding the sketch. I'll add the sketch to this page, to the blog post after, when I talk about that. Remember, I'll tell you about the sketch too. You're going to want your card base, which is standard A2. A2 is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It fits in a standard invitation size envelope. Then you're going to have a layer of Melon Mambo. You can have any color layer that you want. I'd love to say that word, and I just love that color. So Melon Mambo, and then this is watercolor paper. Okay? And that's how your card's going to get together. You're going to use some of your other pieces, because remember, watercolor comes in 6 by 9s. So when you cut this piece to go on the top of your card, you'll have some left over, and you're going to use that for all the little additional items that you're going to add to your card. I wanted to show you a couple of different things before I get started. This is our background, and that's what we're going to create, and that is using this top layer of watercolor paper, and we're going to create our background, okay? This bike is actually just stamped. This is just the stamps the way they are with Melon Mambo. It looks super cool. I don't have to get any more carried away than that, really. So I could do just that. Let's see what else we could do though, okay? Some of the other things that you're gonna want, I'm gonna move my card over. So here's this card put together. I'm gonna move that over there. These are my colored pencils. You will use these and use these and use these if you like to color. They're awesome. And it's such an easy way to just get some coloring done without having to worry about, do I have the 3 different shades? I've been a Copic marker and a Step to Noir instructor. I'm an advanced Copic colorer, but I still love the simplicity of coloring with these colored pencils. I really do. Okay. You're going to want a blender pen. These come in packs of 3s. You're also going to want an aqua painter. This is super cool. It's filled with water, and I'm going to show you why. Wink of Stella in clear, you can never have, there's always a reason to use Wink of Stella. And then, oh, I brought out these to show you. These are the, and they're not in my supply list, these are the Subtles enamel shapes. They come in super cute colors. Let me open this so that you can see how they come. And I'm only going to use 2 of these, but let me show you where I'm going to use them. Now these come in, these are subtles, so they come in all the colors of the subtle color family, right? And you have a star and hearts, and you have all the same shapes and all these cool colors, right? So I'm going to take, just because I'm going to go with a yellow. And if I were to put this bike, now remember, this bike I did not watercolor. This bike is just stamped. I watercolored the seat and the handle grips. And we're going to do this in a minute. But let me just show you where I was going to put these enamel shapes. They've also got some really great metal ones if you're liking that. Pop that under there. Probably would use my liquid glue so that I don't have to worry about my snail being in the way, but you know, we're in a hurry here today. Okay, bike, here you go. Then I'm going to take one of these, and honestly, this works great if you broke your nail. You can pick it up with a bone folder. I tend to use my nail most of the time. And you're just going to put it down for the hub on your bike, just to add a little something. So when I say I use my nail, I pick it up with my fingernail, which I don't have fake nails, so I can do it. If I had nails on, I probably would have a hard time. And then that one goes there. Okay? It just adds a little something, something. Right. There's one idea. Let's move you aside. Okay. So let's move these guys, and let's start at the beginning. I'm working with my watercolor paper. This is when I played with my color. You can kind of see there's a blue tint. I was playing with this one. So I'm not going to actually use this to work with tonight. I'm going to use this. I want to do the background. Now remember, this was cut, and I will give you the sketch with the measurements, but this was cut to go on the front of the card. Let's use this as our example. And I want grass and sky. And you're thinking, okay, that sounds complicated. It's really not. I'm going to take my, ignore the fact that this is chewed by a Shih Tzu. It still works. This is my old olive. And I'm going to give myself some grass and a little bit along and some grass. And you're thinking, that does not look like what this looks like. I know. We're going to work at it. And a little bit more grass. And some color in between. All right? You're not too impressed, I know. You will be. Then I'm going to take the blue, and I'm using the Bermuda Bay. And I'm going to lay my pencil on the side, and I'm going to do this with it. Okay, now seriously, you could leave it like that and not hate it. But I'm going to take my aqua painter with my water, and I'm going to start with the blue, and I'm just going to add a little squeeze, and some water will come out, and you will see that this will start to blend in, and I will lose the marks that I had from the pencil. I'll get some light and dark. The more you color, the more it blends. And I'm squeezing the aqua painter, adding water as I need it. If you try and do this on other paper like Whisper White or even the shiny white, it's not as forgiving. So I recommend the watercolor for this. It just works if you want to use the aqua painter. It works much better. See how it's just kind of blending in the colors, but I'm not getting like an overall color. I'm getting that more realistic look. It's a little bit light for you, but let me see if I zoom in, if you can see it a little bit better. Apparently no, that's not doing it. Come on, where are you? All right, it's not going to do it. We'll do it this way. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. Okay? And you can always come back and do more. If you don't like that this line is here, I can come back and do a little bit more. Then I'm going to come down to the green. Now, I didn't have to wash my brush at all, because if I have a little bit of green and blue, I want to do some blending. I'm okay. Notice how it goes really easy. And now I still want to keep a little bit of the highlight of the grass. So I'm not going to blend all my lines away. I'm just going to blend them a little bit. And I'm going to go up in here a little bit with color so it's not blue and then green. Okay? I want to blend them in. And I might do a little bit more to get rid of this a little. All right? And I'm going to set that aside and let it dry. But that's my background. It's really easy. I could make this be anything. If I didn't want it to be sky, if I wanted this to be a dirt road, I could have made it a dirt road. I could have used lots of other items on the bottom. We've talked about this before. Embossing paste to make it looking like a brick road would be awesome. So think a little bit beyond just, oh, she used blue and green, so I have to use blue and green. Maybe it's a sunset and you can get some oranges and some yellows in up there. Don't hesitate. Cheryl, that's an excellent question. Cheryl just asked, once you spread the color, can you add others? You can. You want to wait till it dries though, Cheryl? So let me grab this one. And let's say I wanted to go with a little bit darker up in here. I can come in with this. And then my pencil, my aqua painter. And blend that. You probably would want to do it before you put your bike on. But you see, you can definitely do that. Okay? So never hesitate. And seriously, it's a piece of watercolor paper. So if it doesn't come out the way you want it, just start again. No one cares. Right? Okay. So there's your background. It's going to dry, but think about other things you can do to Cheryl says she's type A. She would be really upset. Watercolor is not necessarily perfect. That's kind of why I like it, because there isn't really a mistake. But you know, you may be somebody who's not really happy doing this kind of messy. This is as messy as I get, by the way. But you want a more specific. So maybe you're not going to watercolor your background. Maybe you're just going to go with a nice white background and your bike on a white background. Don't feel like just because I did it that way, that's the way you have to do it. Now, let's bring in some of our stamps. And you'll notice I'm stamping these with Debbie, that's a really good question. Debbie wants to know, is there a right or wrong side to the paper? There isn't. Let me just grab a piece here. If you feel it, you will see there's not really any difference. I mean, I guess maybe this side has a little more texture to it, Debbie. I think I can feel this side should be more, but it's not that dramatic. I've used both sides. Watercoloring is super forgiving. Susan says she's not good with lots of white space. So that's why you would want the background. You could do a lot more detail in the background too. I mean, if you wanted this to be water rather than sky, you could add other things in the background to it. You could put some trees in. You could put, let me take this one back. What if I wanted some trees in the background? I could take my green. I'm good with pine trees. And let's put some pines back here. And again, it's the same kind of thing. The harder you color, the more color you put down, the deeper the color will be. You can also stamp back there, but you can see how this, even though I haven't really blended it yet, I am not an artist, not by any stretch of the imagination. A drawing artist, I'm not. Okay? But it just lets you do it. It's so rewarding. So now instead of making it be a wash like we just did with the aqua painter, I'm going to bring in the blender pen, and that kind of takes the lines away, but it doesn't make it as watery as the aqua painter does. Can you see the difference? Let me do the last tree with the aqua painter. See, so I still see the definition of the trees this way, but and to clean your blender pen when you're done, you just wipe it on a spot of paper until the color is gone. And then you're ready to go to your next color and it doesn't carry over. Aqua painter, let's try this. You can see you can get just as detail-y, but it's a little more blendy than the blender pen is, if that makes sense, okay? To clean this, you're just gonna take a paper towel and you're gonna squeeze and wipe your aqua painter till it's clean. Even though this one's stained, it doesn't come off. Like the stain's not coming off on mine. So you don't have to worry, okay? The stain comes about when you use ink, and you can actually use ink too. We're not gonna do that tonight, but you can. Okay, I know, I like the trees too, Susan. I think they're cool. They add a little more depth to the page. You might be wondering, what are these rocks down here? How did you get the rocks? Kathy asked me what did I do, the aqua painter, and I used that to blend my background. So I color this first with my pen, and then I brought the aqua painter in and gave it more of a wash. Okay? And then I'm gonna set this aside because this is pretty wet, and I'm gonna let this dry while I do the rest. The rocks. Where did we get the rocks from? In the Thinlits, you have one that's just for embossing. It's the rocks right here. And I put these just on top and ran this through, and I got these indents in my paper. And then I took my gray pencil, my basic gray, and I went over, and notice when you do it, they kind of pick up the edges. So if you want to see the rocks more, you can do that. And I could do this all the way across if I wanted this to be a dirt road. And this is done with your Big Shot. I'm going to move some of this out of the way so that you can see the Big Shot in a minute, because we're going to have to cut some things. But let's, I stamped a few of these earlier. These are just simply stamped with the basic gray, the archival one. And the reason I picked the basic gray is the lines aren't so distinct. So when you color them, they're a little bit less noticeable. You can also do, it depends on what you're doing and what you want. I will show you the differences between the two colors in just a second. The Daffodil Delight is another option. And so is Soft Suede, or I'm sorry, Crumb Cake. Hold on, I just lost your picture here for me. Okay, so let's look at what these can do, okay? I just want to give you some options here so you can see what color you like best. So this is Crumb Cake. And let's do our dog in the Crumb Cake. So here's the dog, and this is the one, it's this one that I'm using, not this, because this is going to fill him in. So I want just the outline because I want to color. All right. And I'm going to stamp this down right here. So that's what it looks with Crumb Cake. All right. Now, because I'm using a bunch of different inks, I'm going to use my Stampin' Scrub. I talk about this in almost every class because it is one of the coolest things ever. Remember, it has a wet and a dry side. And Kathy, this ink will not run because I'm going to use the blender pen. I'm not going to aqua paint it. You have to make sure that it's good and dry before you, so here's my wet side. So you want to make sure it's good and dry before you start blending it. And I clean on my wet, and then I dry on my dry, and my ink, my stamp is all clean now, so I'm not going to color, I'm not going to get Crumb Cake on my daffodil. I tend to use the basic gray all the time, and I'll show you that one too so that you can then make decisions. This is Daffodil Delight. Okay. And then I want to do one more with the basic black. There is an archival black as well. It looks the same, and I don't see it right here, so I don't want to waste time searching for it. But here's the black so that you can see. You don't usually do this many color changes. And here's the black. Okay? All right, so let's look at those, and then we can get a sense of, well, which one do we really like? Cheryl wanted to know if the stamp has lasted a long time with re-inking. Absolutely. Years. You can always re-stamp, re-ink, and they'll last forever. I don't, well, that's kind of a stretch. As long as you need them. They do last a long time. Forever is not a good promise. I got myself in trouble promising forever in internet life once. Okay, so let's just cut this gray so that Kathy says she's had hers a long time even without re-inking. So I'm going to cut this dog out so that you can see them all together. All right, so those are your options. Oh, you can use any color, seriously. I like the gray, and I'm going to make this dog, I'm going to make him brown. I don't own a brown dog. I own a white dog. Oh, I do have, this is Belle. Okay, Belle's brown, and she's got a little gray in her. So I'm just going to go over and I'm going to color really kind of lightly. And I'm going to think about where my shading might be, like her belly might be darker because it's going to be in the shade. It's tough on this one to get a whole lot of shading done because it's not a very big one. Okay, so I'm going to go over this, and then I'm going to take my blender pen, And I'm going to use the blender pen on it, and you can see how the color just comes alive when you do that, right? And if you decide that you wish you had a little bit more color somewhere, like you want it a little darker in certain areas, like I wish I had a little bit more dark, a little darker down there, I can take the pencil, and lay some color down over here, because I'm going to cut this out. This is watercolor paper that I'm using right now. And I'm going to pick up the color. See how it gets on my blender pen? And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to lay that shadow down. Okay, I just pick up the color that I want and get a little bit of highlights on them. Now, if I don't really like all that highlight, I just take this, wipe it off, and come back and I can blend a little bit more. Okay, now Belle's a little girl, so she's going to get a Melon Mumbo scarf here, but I want it to be kind of checkerboard. Now I couldn't do that if I just stamped it with my ink pad, but with my pencil, I can. And I can color in and get the detail that I want this way with my pencil. And then I need to do a little bit more on her foot here. Sorry, I don't know if that shows up for you. But we're not going to talk to Chris right now. We'll talk to him after. Okay, that looks better. All right, so now I've got my dog done. I'm going to do a little bit more once I cut this dog out. Oh, I wanted to show you how this looks with the different colors. So this is what it looks like with the crumb cake. Just do a little coloring in here. And you can decide what you think. I think it depends on what color you wanted your dog to be, what color that you like. All right, and grab this. And you can see that it all changes. On this one, I don't have as much of an outline, but I also don't get the face that I want on this particular one. So it depends on what you're thinking. I personally think the gray is a more universal one, and I like the way he looks. Granted, I was more careful with that one, so it's not really a fair indication, but okay. Let's move this over. And now we're going to do the same thing with all these other pieces, but I don't want to color forever with you tonight, so I just want you to get a general idea of how this is going to go, and then we'll work a little bit more. Let me move some of my pieces here. I pulled these out so that I would keep track of who was who and not forget some of them, because I tend to do that. But notice you've got all these great little pieces. I mean, this is the butterfly one. It's so cute. And there isn't really a butterfly stamp. See, there isn't one. So you could do the butterfly. And if you're in the watercolor mode, you could then do it on a paper that you watercolored first. You could color the butterfly to be a real watercolor butterfly. I mean, she's little, but you know. All right, so let's zoom out a little. And let's bring our little doggy in. Now I'm using my magnetic platform, and I'm gonna get the die cut that goes with my dog. Make sure I line him up. Diane, yes, you can use washi tape or removable tape to hold it in place. Cheryl, they do. They're made to do that. You're okay. You didn't do anything wrong. So there's my dog. All right. So you can get an idea of what we're doing here. Let's bring this one back. This is not really my favorite, but we're going to use him. And my dog is here. Or I could do my basket. Here's my basket. Now I haven't colored these, but I just want you to see how they go. So let's bring back this guy. And I'm going to get rid of these over here. I definitely recommend that you color first, cut second. But I just want you to see these guys, so I'm going to do it this way. Now, sometimes the magnet decides it has a mind of its own, and you kind of have to keep moving it around to get it where it's going. If it's really going to give you a hard time, I'll go this way with it. See, now it's happy. I don't know why it was giving me a hard time over here, but it was fighting with me. So there you go. That'll be fine. I'm going to cut this little piece out of watercolor. There is a stamp that goes with it. One of these days, we will do everything in this, but I'll be here for hours. That's what I do on those Saturdays that I was telling you about, the one that I'm giving away. I am here for hours. And we do spend the whole time getting it done. Now, this one's being tricky. I may not be able to get all three of them to do what I want. I'm gonna, come on, don't be difficult. So, if it is being difficult, that's where the tape comes in handy. Kathy says she doesn't have a Big Shot. She's using her Cuttlebug. I have to say, once I went Big Shot, I'm never going back. But so that tape will hold it in place, and it's not going to hurt anything. If you have washi tape, then you can not worry about it going into your stamped area. If you're using regular tape, I try to be careful not to get it on my watercolor. You can also, if I wasn't trying to get 3 in here, I'd be okay. But I'm trying to do 3 at once. Oh, Cheryl, good question. Washi tape it's a terrible paper tape. Terrible like this, not terrible like awful. It's great. Oh, there's so many great colors. We haven't even begun to play with washi tape yet. We'll have to do that one day. Diane said her bolt is missing from her handle. Is it from Stampin' Up, Diane, or did you have your Big Shot from someplace else? If it's from someplace else, I would contact Sizzix. I would reach out to them. Oh, it has so many great colors, Cheryl. I'll send you a link later. You'll be hooked. Okay, so here's all these itty bitty little pieces, right? But it's super fun. Let me get this last. What did I do with them? Oh, there it is. There's my flower. Okay, let's get you guys out of the way. Now I'm doing this in the backwards order. I totally am, because I would color these before I cut them, but I want you to see how they go together on the card. So this little piece goes on the back like this of your bike. Wanda, how big is the Big Shot? I don't know. Like, how big is the surface area that you can use, you mean? Of course, it doesn't really matter because I don't have a ruler in front of me anyway. The machine itself is good size. I mean, I'm showing it to you right here. You can see. Let me Let me use my trimmer. That'll tell you how big it is. It is about 12 inches. Can you see? Here's one. Oops, no, here's 14. So 13 inches that way. And about 6 inches across is the machine. And then the platform is 7.5 by 8. I'm doing that completely wrong. I'm not measuring right at all. I need to be from right here. So 9, it's 6 by 9. Okay? Just don't ask me to measure your carpet. That's not what I'm good at. Okay, so anywho, let's put this guy down. I just did this white. I probably would do it a different color, but I want you to see it. So this little seat goes here, and my little doggy could ride right there, right? And then I'm going to bring in my basket, or my dog could go in the seat, and my basket could go here with my flowers, right? Oh, yes, absolutely, Wanda. It is bigger than the Cuttlebug. So Cuttlebug dies will definitely fit in the big shot. Some of the dies, not necessarily the dies, some of the embossing folders created for the big shot don't quite fit in the Cuttlebug. So going in the reverse, it's not quite as good. To go, all your Cuttlebug stuff will definitely go in the big shot. It's just not as good the other way around. Okay? All right, so there's that. The one thing I wanted to show you that I didn't before we get into what the giveaway is my Wink of Stella. Where did Mr. Wink of Stella go? Here she is. This is the clear Wink of Stella. It's not going to add any color. But if when I use this, remember I did the dog and I didn't do anything after I put the pink on? I'm going to do a little bit of Wink of Stella on this. It's going to do the same kind of thing as my blender pen does. It's going to get rid of the lines, but it's also going to make it super shiny and a little glittery. I can do this on the ears and the nose, and then my dog's got a little bit of highlight. Now, you probably can't see it, but you can see it. There it is. See the glitter? Yep, this is from Stampin' Up. I made the promise when I came to Stampin' Up that I would not use anything that wasn't Stampin' Up so that you could find it. It's Wink of Stella. And the link is, all the links, Kathy, are on, Cheryl, are on my website. Let me show you that now. I'm actually going to show you on my computer, so it's just easier. So, the giveaway. The giveaway is going to be announced tomorrow morning. It adds some glitter. Yep. All right, so here's my site, right? KaraMiller.com. Super easy. When you come in here, you're going to go to blog. And you're going to see what you're doing tonight. And you're going to say read more. And when you click on that, you can scroll down. You'll see what I'm giving away. And it tells you how to enter the drawing. I want you to make sure that somewhere in your answer, in your comment, that you're going to come down to the bottom and you're going to add a comment. See, Deb's already answered me. Deb, go back and add something to your comment. I want you to make sure that you put the word bell, B-E-L-L. Belle is my little brown dog. All right? So I want to make sure, that way I'll know that you were here. I want to make sure that you put the word Bell, B-E-L-L, in your comment. That'll rise you to the top of the list. So add a comment, and what am I giving away? I am giving away a seat in my all-day August 19th class. It's a day of cards. And I'm also giving away a stamp set. Tomorrow morning around 9 o'clock after coffee and I'm awake, I will choose a winner. And I'll post it on the blog and I'll post on Facebook. These are the supplies that I used tonight so that you can see them. There's the watercolor paper, watercolor pencils, blender pens, aqua painters, Whisper White cardstock, that's what I used for the base, Melon Mambo. I didn't use the stamp pad in class, but that's what I stamped the bike in this picture. The Big Shot, magnetic platform. I didn't use dimensionals yet because I haven't put those together, but I will. And then the Wink of Stella, okay? All right, make sure you comment. Make sure you put Bell in the comments, and I'll know that you were here. And I will choose the winner tomorrow morning. If you are invited to the class and you have already signed up for the class, if you're the lucky winner of my class and you're already signed up to come, you may gift it to anybody. Just let me know who we're gifting it to. I want to show you one more thing. This on the home page tells you about the cards. All right? If you want to come and you don't win, you can still enroll. You have time. You're going to do that right here where it says click here to enroll. You bring it over and it will bring you in. It's $40 to enroll just in the class. One more way, there's 5 different cards throughout the day, 5 different classes. If you click on, I feel like I have it. If you click on the picture, yeah. It brings you to the blog post that is wrong. Sorry. I'll check it out. I'll make sure that it brings you to the blog post that tells you what we're learning in the class. What's the purpose of the host code? Cheryl, that's a really great question. Host codes gather those orders in one place. And what happens with that is I use the rewards from those to do giveaways. So anything that I earn from you putting your orders together, I use to buy giveaways to give away, like this stamp set. So I'm giving away a seat in the class, and I'm giving away this to a second lucky winner. Okay? Now, if your order is more than $150, don't use the host codes, and you get the rewards. You'll get the 15%. Okay? The codes do, and that's why I change them out. They're good for a week or maybe 2. It depends on me. And I'll always keep the current one on the front page of my blog. The one that's current is always there. Excellent question. Okay? All right, you guys, thanks for coming tonight. This was really fun. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I look forward to some winners tomorrow. And oh, Sandy, the reason I picked this is because this is one to color. You can color all of these in. So since we're coloring, I thought it would be a good idea to pick a stamp that you could color. Ladies on Facebook, make sure that you use the word Bell in your comment, and your comment is going to be at caramiller.com, C-A-R-A, and click on blog. Have a great night, everybody. See you soon.